Okay, in this part of the lesson, we're going to be working with zero exponents and negative exponents. So when you have any number or letter to the exponent of zero, it has an answer of 1, with the exception of 0 to the power of 0 is considered undefined. Okay, so 4 to the power of 0 is the same as 1. B to the power of 0 equals 1. So any number or letter, if you're working in algebra, to the power of 0 becomes 1, with the exception of 0 as a base number to the power of 0 is considered undefined. Okay. We'll also be working with negative exponents in just a little bit, but we're going to go ahead and start with just our exponents of 0, so our most basic. Okay, so here we have 3 to the negative 4. Oops, I need my power of zeros here. Okay, so we'll write some up. So let's do like 7 to the power of 0. Well, any number to the power of 0 equals 1. Okay, what if I had z to the power of 0? That would equal 1. So any number to the power of 0 is 1. Okay, so now let's discuss negative exponents. In order to work with negative exponents, you must actually convert them into a positive exponent. So for any integer that has a non-zero negative number, you're going to give the reciprocal of that. So for example, if you had 4 to the negative 2, to solve that problem, you're actually going to have to do the reciprocal of that number to get rid of that negative. So when I do the reciprocal of this, I'm going to flip it over top to bottom. It becomes 1 over 4 to the second power. And take note that when we flipped that, it eliminated this negative. So my final answer would be 1/4 squared, or 1/16 as a final answer. Okay, it kind of depends on what they're asking for. We're going to go ahead and take it to that final answer. So when working with negative exponents, you must do the reciprocal. So let's say I had something like this, 1/7 to the negative 2. Okay, I would do the reciprocal. So if I flip that over, it becomes 7 squared over 1. Okay, and now, yeah, because it's over 1, I can eliminate that, which gives me an answer of 49, or 49 over 1. Okay, so we're going to do the reciprocal. That when we do that reciprocal, it eliminates that negative on our exponent. Okay, so let's go ahead and practice some of these that I had off to the side. Okay, so 3 to the negative 4, we're going to have to do the reciprocal. So I'm going to write it over 1. So if I flip it, it becomes 1 over 3 to the 4th power. Now, I'm not expecting you to go through and actually solve these longhand. Yes, you may use your calculator. Remember, on your calculator, some of you have a little up button. Some of you have an X to a Y or a Y to an X. Okay, so 3 to the 4th power gives me 81. So my final answer here is 1 over 81 as a final answer. Remember, when you're flipping it, it's changing that negative exponent to a positive. Okay, so let's try another one here. So here I have 2 to the power of 6 divided by 2 to the power of 8. So earlier in this chapter, you worked with, well, division of exponents. So remember, we're subtracting between the exponents. So I'm moving this up there and I'm subtracting when it's division. So 6 minus 8 gives me a negative 2. So this changes into 2 to the negative 2. Now I'm going to go ahead. See how now I have it back to something that looks like this. I'm going to do the reciprocal. Okay, so that becomes 1 over 2 squared, or 1/4 as a final answer. So they're going to start you in right away, working with more complex than just converting it. Of course, I'll have you practice the most basic, like this. So remember, to get rid of that negative, you're going to do the reciprocal. And then they're going to very quickly transition you into working with that. So I'm going to write a couple up here. I want you guys to go ahead and pause your video and get your answers to these. Okay, so let's do 7 to the negative 3. And let's do z to the negative 4. Okay, so I want you to go ahead, pause your video, and get your final answers on each of these. Okay, so on the first one, we ended up with the reciprocal of 1 over 7 to the third power, and then that became 1 over 343. And on our second one, we had a variable or a letter there, so all we could do was go ahead and do the reciprocal to get rid of that negative, so it became 1 over z to the 4th.